Welcome to Tiger Talk, your source for information about your hometown and surrounding area. Tiger Talk is brought to you by... And Tiger Talk brought to you by Whistle Stop Donuts, Strain Beans Coffee House on Lower Main in Princeton, Hancock's Neighborhood Market on Commerce Street in Katie's delicious homemade goodness, and Perry's Floors and more.
Make the morning great with a stop at Whistle Stop Donuts on West Main Street in Princeton. Whistle Stop makes their donuts fresh daily, and they're ready on your way to work or school. They have a wide variety of fresh donuts, so you can surprise the office with a dozen delicious donuts. Stop by Whistle Stop today and enjoy a donut or a dozen. They're open 5 a.m. to noon Monday through Saturday. Whistle Stop Donuts on West Main in Princeton.
And good morning at 8:04. Welcome to Tiger Talk here on your hometown radio station, WPKY. And I'd like to welcome into studio Upland Addiction. I have Judd Woodward and Mary SCHALK here. And good morning. How are you all?
Pretty good. Appreciate you letting us come, Ty.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. It's that time of year. It's the weather's changing. We're into fall, and Upland Addiction. I've Mary and her dad were here to talk about Kraus Kennels a couple weeks ago, and they said, well, let's talk about Upland Addiction. I said, well, yeah, let's talk about it, because somebody says, well, what is that? Tell us what Upland Addiction is.
Well, any of us that ever bird hunted as kids, we all grew up going with our dads and stuff hunting. When I was younger, it was a Thanksgiving tradition that my dad and his uncles, or my uncles, his brother-in-laws, and some of his friends always come in. We went bird hunting. That's just what we did. I wasn't 10 or 12 years old, but I can remember it plain as day. We still have pictures hanging on the wall at the house of us going out on the morning hunt and stuff. And it just became something that we loved to do. And over time, me and Dad started doing quail hunts ourselves. And then after that, it quit. And I always told myself if I ever got a chance, I would go back into it because I enjoyed it so much. And this is where Upland Addiction started. Me and a buddy of mine, a year ago, probably right about today or within the last month or so, we didn't even know each other. And we got to know each other through guiding bird hunts and doing this kind of stuff. And now we're partners in this, and we're trying to get it going, get it out there so people know about it and stuff.
So you had this vision with your buddy,
mm-hmm.
and of course you grew up bird hunting.
Mm-hmm.
And isn't that special, those Thanksgiving mornings when you get up? Because I always tried to with my son to make it, did some type of hunting,
right,
or something, and it just seems like it's a great tradition to do that. And when you grow up doing it, you don't want it to end. You
That's
want
right.
it all the time. So, Upland Addiction, then, this is, let's tell the folks, this is in Sturgis. This is up in Union County.
Right. We actually have hunting ground, Sturgis, Crittenden, or Union, Crittenden, and Webster counties. So it could be various different places where you might
really?
actually be hunting which county. So.
Okay, so you have some stuff leased out,
yes,
different habitat to be able to go. Awesome. So you are third and fourth generation bird hunters. Of course, obviously you're passionate about it. Tell
mm-hmm.
us about the process, how this all came about, as far as the ground, the birds, and how the hunts work.
Like I said, me and Lance Brantley, my other partner, couldn't make it today. He had to work. But me and him was guiding at another preserve, and we just talked about it and said, hey, let's try this on our own. We got to got to know Mary a little bit, and she come in, helped us with a lot of stuff, paperwork, all the odds and ends, the smart stuff. It takes a little bit smarter person to do than what.
Uh-oh.
But she come in and helped us with all that, and then we got to ask around for land to lease and stuff like that, and I actually have some of my own property and stuff. We set it up for bird hunting, let it grow up, milo strips, feeder strips, try to make it more of a bird hunting atmosphere, And then just the ball started rolling, and from that point on, it was sending paperwork, getting stuff going.
Mm-hmm. Now tell us a little bit, for those that are listening and like to bird hunt, shoot quail, tell us about of course, the habitat that they live in, and how the birds are there. I mean, do you do you get some from breeders? Do they naturally come as well? Tell us that process.
The way we do it, it's what we consider early release program. We turn out so many birds, like there's no set date or anything, time of year, well, early season, before season. We try to turn out so many birds, and then based on our hunts and us working bird dogs and stuff in them areas, we base it on how many birds we're seeing, how many birds hunters are getting into. You know, if they're killing this many and they should be seeing this many, we might go and release more. It just depends on how it's going, but it could be a variation of wild birds, pen-raised birds, everything could get together at one time.
Of course, they all kind of probably merge together.
Right,
I mean,
right.
You would think that would happen naturally as some birds are released, and then there's some there's still quail out there in the natural habitat.
Right.
I mean, it's just that, you know, from years of pressure, from different things, for whatever reason, you know, those birds just the habitat issues and stress just seem to kind of let them fade away.
That's right.
I think, too, through the conservation, I think Judd and Lance are very active in the land that's leased, and then some of it's their own property, and stimulating that wild bird population. And just like he said, monitoring the give and take of the entire quail population. And he's already had a couple hunts this year, and I know on our property we've got a couple wild coveys, and it's just, you know, it's like a kid at Christmas. That's one of the most exciting things you can see in this day and age. You talked a little bit about the pressure. So we're really fortunate, I think, that Upland Addiction has started at just the right time, where a lot more farmers are more conscious and aware of leaving that extra strip of beans and helping everybody work together, take care of what we have to stimulate that quail growth.
And that's important. Let's talk about the conservation aspect, because that is important. I think there is a conscientious effort by farmers, by sportsmen now to leave that extra piece or that extra strip because it is a heritage that's been sort of dwindling in the past few years. And I've heard different, I watch different, outdoor shows, and they talk about that kind of hunting in Western Kentucky, and they say we'll never get it back to the way it used to be, and that could be true. That might not be true. I would hope that through conservation, through stewardship, through use of land, that efforts such as you guys are doing, that might not be the case.
I think the difference between bygone eras and today is that those places aren't going to be just out your back door, where it's going to be little pockets of places that are very well tended and maintained, and that effort is there. And just like Judd mentioned, the places that we're able to hunt are in different locations. There's a plot of 400 acres that we're able to hunt in one spot, but it's not connected. It's divided up from different industry, croplands, subdivisions. Right. So that's going to be the difference. It's not going to be walk 10 miles in one direction.
Right.
But on the flip side of that, it takes a long time to hunt 400 acres, doesn't it, Judd?
That's right.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty big space.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So we're very fortunate to have that to utilize.
Sure. As far as Upland Addiction is concerned, you've got a few flyers. We've got them here, and we'll post some stuff on our website and our Facebook page a little bit later. But tell us a little bit about the process. If somebody's listening, go, man, that sounds like something I want to do.
I'm going to brag on Judd before he gets his foot on the door.
Yeah.
We met through a Krause cocker. Is
And
how we got
connected
connected
as well. Yeah.
I mean, gosh, I can't quote the whole conversation online, but it was, we hit it off. We talked a little bit about horses. We talked a little bit about bird dogs, and we set it up for him to come to the kennel because we had a litter of cocker puppies on the ground. And unusual, but they were not all sold yet. I had 2 left to sell. And he showed up and picked up his puppy, and he was sold. And Lady is a black English cocker that he got from us, and he has done an outstanding job training her. As she sits on the ride on the ATV or mule or whatever and waits for his cue. And I will flush the birds and retrieve the birds that have been shot. She's just slam jam good dog. She's 11 months old this month.
And she's
good breed. Good breed of dog.
and of course, and again, there is a connection here with Krause Kennels because their dogs are top notch.
Absolutely.
Right.
But the process in the hunt it's a walking hunt, and they as the dogs point the birds, and There's only 3 guns on the ground, so safety first, absolutely. And the cockers, the flushing dogs, and some people use labs and what else, Judd? Help me.
Boykins, they could use anything really. I mean, a lot of people have bird dogs that are flushing dogs, but
Right.
I mean, any
The
kind of dog
cockers are
could be
smaller,
Right.
more compact, hopefully less of a safety issue. I mean, unfortunately, all over the place, the Southeast, everywhere, anywhere there's a hunting preserve, dogs get injured.
Yeah, they do.
So, we have to
Be extremely careful.
that has to be first and foremost
Sure.
for us. We have to protect our assets, our guides, and our dogs. So, you're walking, you're hunting, and the dogs are working right there in front of you. And Judd can tell you about our first hunt of the year, but I think it went pretty quick. That half a day goes quick when you're shooting a lot of birds.
Yeah,
So-
tell us about that.
Well, like I said, we started in Clay eating a little breakfast, and then we went out to the to the fields where we was hunting at, and turned the dogs out, and immediately, boom, we was on birds immediately. And the guys were like, "Wow, it's crazy how the best part of the hunt's when somebody that hadn't got to do it. Like we had a dad and 2 sons is who it was hunting.
Yeah.
And them guys, they had maybe done a little quail hunting. The sons had a few times when they were younger. Dad had done it some,
Yeah.
But when they got into it, it's the smile on their face. If they hit or if they miss the birds, it doesn't matter.
No,
it's worth
being out there and seeing those dogs work.
Right.
Yeah.
The dog goes on point, and then, like I said, I bring Lady in or whatever it is at that point. It's just the light up they get in their eyes and stuff when they actually see the bird come up and they get to shoot at it and all that kind of stuff. But we just hunt. I mean, we'll take a couple breaks throughout the day, and that was actually our first hunt. Was a little bit warmer, so we had to give the dogs breaks, because
Sure,
we don't want to overheat them. Like I said, we just worked it as we went, as we got into birds, kept getting into birds, was shooting, and once the time limit, which our time was up, we went back to the truck, took pictures, bukus of pictures.
Yeah.
But, and, it's memories, them guys, this boy said, man, I'd love to do this again. When can I do it again? And that's what you want to hear. Not like you just said, just because that means that they enjoyed it. That's what I like. That's the main thing,
Yeah, and I've been on guided hunts, not quail hunts before, but there's nothing like that. I mean, there was a good dog there, and when you to see a dog work and is well trained, that's just as rewarding just about as the hunt itself to watch a dog work and do what it's supposed to do.
Right.
The whole experience of that is just unbelievable.
And for me, that's the first time I've ever actually trained a dog to say, like especially a flushing dog. Now, as far as bird dog and stuff, I've worked with them throughout the years, but train an actual flushing dog from 0, 6 weeks old when I got her, and then had my partner Lance, he was out there with us. He was guiding and stuff, and he said, them guys were asking, who trained your dog? And Lance said, Judd did that on his own, I mean, that's from get-go, that made me feel good,
Sure
because
did.
I'm never claimed to be a dog trainer by no means, but being able to take that in, was awesome too. So.
And it's awesome to have a good breed.
Right,
Train.
that makes a big difference.
Those bloodlines mean a whole lot.
Right.
When you're training those things. We're going to take a break. We'll take a short break, take our breath. We've been going here about 15 minutes, and we will come back with Judd Woodward and Mary Schock. We are talking Upland Addiction. It is wing shooting at its finest. It's in Sturgis, Kentucky, and we're talking bird hunting on this Monday, and it's fun. And dogs and all kinds of good stuff. So stick around for Tiger Talk. We're coming back here in just a few minutes after this break. It's a String Beans coffee break. Back in a moment on Tiger Talk.
String Beans Coffee House in downtown Princeton specializes in made-to-order espresso drinks. Stop by Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. to noon and enjoy a pick-me-up. You can also enjoy fresh-baked scones, homemade chocolate chip and oatmeal raisin cookies, and espresso brownies that'll keep you going all day long. They're also open on Saturday from 9 to 2. String Beans Coffee House on Lower Main in Princeton. Great coffee and more in a great atmosphere on Lower Main in downtown Princeton.
All right, we are back at Tiger Talk at 8:17. We're with Judd Woodward and Mary Schock, and we're talking Upland Addiction, wing shooting at its finest, bird hunting in Sturgis, Kentucky. And we talk about the great hunts and the camaraderie. Let's talk about, Mary said, let's talk about the harvest and what we do with these birds. And, of course, quail's pretty good eating.
Yeah, and like I said, we have pheasant. We do pheasants and chuckers, but quail is our main basis. But after mass amounts of birds have been killed that day, we will take them back and clean them, package them, get them ready to freezer, whatever you want to do, whether it's cook them then or freeze them for next time or whatever.
Yeah.
No big deal, and then we'll get them back to the hunter themselves. And whether it might be the next day, we got to get them to them that next morning because we clean them all evening, got them in the freezer, or whether it's they wait on them, we give them to them as soon as we get done cleaning them, just however it wants to go.
Depending on how they're going to travel or
Right,
where they come from. Or
right, that makes a big difference.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And that's part of the fellowship and then the fun and the camaraderie of it all is that aspect of it. I mean, it's the full deal. You know, I've been on a hunt, but it's you quickly develop these bonds on these hunts. It's amazing with your guide, with the dog, and everything, and it's just a great experience. I know I've been on some guided hunts with my son, and just there's nothing like it. These people become you act like you almost feel like you've known each other your whole life, and it's a special thing.
I think that's a combination of a good dog and just like you said, the hunt. It's just you can share in the enjoyment of the performance that you're witnessing, no matter how many birds you kill or don't kill. It's just it's better than going to the movies. I'll say that.
It's a total experience.
Absolutely.
And you take it all in. Like you said, even if I've been on these hunts and had disappointing days, numbers wise, as far as what you kill or what you harvest. But just the whole aspect of watching a dog work, being with your guide, being out in Mother Nature, it's a good thing.
Right.
Well, tell us about Upland Addictions and as far as your conservation efforts. We talked about habitat a little earlier. I'm trying to get these levels right. My microphones are acting kind of weird. There we go. That conservation aspect as far as hedgerows and habitat and that kind of thing. Do you guys spend a lot of time, getting these hedgerows and these fields ready for these birds?
Well, that's for sure. We start early into the summer because most of our property we have milo or some kind of sorghum grain strips dished and planted in them for feed for birds or any other kind of wildlife. Needless to say, but that allows them somewhere to feed. It's what we call when we say a feeder strip.
Yeah,
that's what we mean. It's a strip of milo running down through. It could be anywhere from 8 to 10 foot wide.
That's one of their favorite things to eat.
Oh yeah, and it produces so much seed that, like I said, when you walk through it, or a deer walks through it, or you run a 4-wheeler through it, it knocks seed on the ground, and they can get to it easy.
Right off the ground.
It's just eeasy for them.
And the cover.
Right, and it's got good cover
for
them predators we got moving around, but. And then we'll have, then pretty much it's native grass fields, CRP fields, stuff that's just allowed to grow up on each side of it. Now, like I said, it's not head high. We try to keep everything low.
Yeah.
But we'll bush hog it early. But I'd say it takes several months to get everything lined out like it needs to be, and you got to do all that during the summer. So it takes some preparation to get it right.
Certainly does. And what can folks expect that are listening right now if they call you? Tell them a little bit about that. Now, your brochure says that it's a you were talking about it too, Mary. Maximum 3 people per hunt. So there's only three guns on the ground at the time. So and they're limited to that. Basically.
That's right. Yes, yes.
Because that's pretty much all you want as far as working the dogs and working these areas but you have multiple places and multiple guides, so it doesn't mean that you got to group in and
it's limited to one spot. Instead, we could. There's 3 of us, so hypothetically we could take out 9 people because we have the grounds, we have the dogs, and we have the staff. One thing I would say about these guided hunts, it's absolutely a wonderful thing for local people, local business owners. I know here in Princeton we have some corporations who have out-of-town guests coming in, and those are the people that I would say, hey, this is a once-in-a-lifetime kind of experience, and it's specific to Western Kentucky. It's kind of like a field trip for adults a little bit. What did you tell me? It was an amusement park for adults. That's was one of the first things we talked about when we talked about this business starting up.
Right, and I was going to mention that because you've seen these corporate events or these places where you do have business events where businessmen will come in, and it is a nice way to get away. You have work to do, but yet on the side You can go
It's
enjoy
the
a
golfing
nice,
trip, man.
Exactly.
It's the golfing trip.
Exactly. Don't hit the links. Bring your shotgun.
Right.
And set yourself up for a really fine hunt.
Right.
Because there's a lot to this, especially these when you have these work sessions to get out and enjoy the great outdoors. It can stimulate thinking, and it can put you
Absolutely.
on the right track.
Right.
So there's no doubt that this would be a great thing. But I see from your brochure as well. Plan to see 60 to 80 plus birds during your 3-hour hunt.
That's right.
That's pretty impressive.
Right.
I mean and you guys have obviously worked hard to get that habitat where whole birds like that.
Right. And like I said, it's still hunting. I mean, but that is the plan, and we try to make every hunt to be able to be that. You know what I mean? And that goes back to the bird management and being able to work the fields and make sure that you're seeing that many birds. You know, we want everybody to have just as good as hunting as the guy there the day before them. You know, so that's the object to the hunt. You know.
Awesome. And your partner,
Lance Brantley.
Lance Brantley. Okay, and you guys are located in Sturgis.
Right.
What have we not touched on that you want people to know about Upland Addiction and the ties to maybe Krause Kennels?
I mean, what do you think, Mary?
Well, the tie to Krause Kennel, I mean, Judd is our biggest spokesperson right now because he's got a Krause Cocker and she goes every hunt. So,
Right.
And we're very fortunate to have that connection. And for me personally, this is a new opportunity, and I appreciate Lance and Judd giving me this opportunity. We've been competitive in horseback field trials my entire life, but this is a new avenue and a growing industry all over the Southeast and here in Western Kentucky. And Upland Addiction is right there in the mix as this industry does move forward. And I mentioned this earlier, but I would love for Krause Kennel to be the ultimate supplier of bird dogs for Upland Addiction. And I'm very fortunate
and
to
any
have.
other shooting preserve that might have them.
Right.
Well,
Oh, by the way.
I'm not going to pretend like they don't have the first option in, and for me, it's a new avenue, man, and I'm really excited, and I appreciate Lance and Judd's support, and I'm going to say I'm not a dog trainer, but Judd might put me in a headlock. I've just been really fortunate to have the ultimate teacher in my dad. So it's a family experience for us, and it's something that we have grown up with. And as you mentioned, we are third and fourth generation bird hunters, and being able to share that with other people is a gift more than anything. Yeah, we like to make a little money off of it.
Sure.
We got to pay for dog food and shotgun shells and cleaning birds, but it is a gift that we want to give to others.
Yeah,
So.
and it's a great experience to anybody. This is you can find them at email them at KentuckyUplandAddiction@gmail.com. They have some social media pages as well: Facebook, Twitter, and what's that one?
Instagram.
That is Instagram. Okay,
That is
it looks like
Instagram.
Instagram. Okay. I see. It's got that's the old camera logo.
Right,
Yeah,
right,
yeah. So
right.
they're out there on social media. And they also have a phone number, 270-869-4867. So call and email them today and book your hunt because they're booking all the way. What is your season run there again, Judd?
From September the 1st all the way into April the 1st.
And we do have some hunts on the books. So
yeah.
if you have a specific date or a specific time of year that you're interested in, and Judd mentioned we are all three full-time employees
Right.
of
You guys have
somebody
other
besides
things, yeah.
ourselves. So, if there's something particular, you need to make sure that you are calling in advance.
Especially around the holiday
Absolutely.
Yeah, that
weeks and months or
pretty
quarters
busy,
of
yeah.
the year. You got Thanksgiving coming up, people off from work, and got a lot of stuff going on then. Around Christmas, stuff will be going on first of the year. Stuff gets going crazy fast because it's first year. Everybody's starting over.
Yeah,
so.
but it's a perfect time to get out in the great outdoors and enjoy that hunt and that experience with your family, with
Absolutely.
your friends, with your coworkers. And Upland Addiction is the place to do it.
Right.
There's no doubt. Guaranteed a quality hunt. Spend time in the field with a great dog and good people as well. So, guys, best of luck this season. And sounds like a really great thing. This is in Sturgis, Kentucky. It's Upland Addiction, 270-869-4867. Check them out on social media, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram as well.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ty.
Thank you all. That's Judd Woodward and Mary SCHALK. Upland Addiction is what we're talking. Wing shooting at its finest in Sturgis, Kentucky. Check it out on social media, and we'll have some information on our Facebook page and website as well. Excuse me, about Upland Addiction. So anyway, Hope you enjoyed the show. It's Tiger Talk here on your hometown radio station, WPKY, The Tiger. And we'll have this information about Upland Addiction up here soon. If you missed this and just catching it to the end, we'll also have it on our website, WPKYonline.com. At 8:28, thanks for joining us. For Judd and Mary, y'all have a great day, and thanks for joining us on Tiger Talk on your hometown radio station, WPKY.
Hancock's Neighborhood Market on Commerce Street in Cadiz is the place to shop for